Grab your pre-workout and turn up that volume. It is time for a new episode of the Powerlifter's Den with your host, Cam Smith. What's up, Powerlifter's Den family? Want to rep the podcast and look good while doing it? Check out my official merch store at plden.company.site. We've got tees, hoodies, beanies, hats, and more, and gear that'll keep you motivated in and out of the gym. Every purchase helps support me and the podcast and keeps the den growing strong. So whether you're hitting a heavy squat session or just lounging in style, we've got you covered. Head to plden.company.site and grab your merch today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerlifter's Den. I'm your host, Cam Smith, and I wanted to bring on Michael this time as a solo guest instead of tagging along with one of his clients, and we got plenty to talk about. So, Michael, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah. I mean, you guys see me in tracksuits at meets and stuff, and then you see me like, my name is Michael Greeno. I'm a coach in this sport. I'm no one of note when it comes to lifting, but I coach some of the bigger lifters, untested lifters, tested lifters in the world. So I'm kind of around. You just know me from like the hat and the tracksuit. That's all most people know me, or shitty takes on the
Yeah. So before we get into that, we'll talk about your own little powerlifting journey. What kind of got you into it? So maybe tell us your origins of when you first discovered what powerlifting was and what it meant to you at that time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was probably sometime during the Cretaceous period. I don't know. I've been doing this for like 29, 30 years at this point. I started when I was 13. I'm 42. I got into it. I broke my leg in wrestling. And when I was in like high school, and I couldn't really do anything other than bench press. And so the local sports reporter of my hometown, he was just like, yeah, why don't you come lift with me? And I was like, okay, cool. Like he was always around. He was super nice guy. And like I started like bench pressing and stuff. And I was just walking around the cast at a local gym. And eventually he's like, hey, load my plates and stuff like that. And he taught me to like, him and his crew like taught me essentially and my friends how to power lift because we were just lifting weights there. And eventually, essentially just kind of started competing as a kid, and like the rest was history. I just kind of slipped in with them, and then over the years just continued to lift and got pretty strong as a kid. And then like through, just continued. Then I started coaching probably late 2000s. And I always kind of found myself with like some pretty bigger prestigious crews. So, some of the guys I trained with here in Kansas City were trained out of Big Iron as well. So during the multiply era, and things like that, Al Caslow, et cetera, and so I had kind of ties with them. And then as Raw started to take off, I just kind of had a crew of like really big, prominent Raw lifters who were throwing anywhere from 850 to 900-pound squats around. And I think at one time when I was kind of just like, I wasn't coaching, I was coaching, but I wasn't coaching. I was running my crew, and people were coming into town. But like, I think at a time when there was only like maybe like 15 people with 2K totals actively competing. This was like when Milanichev was still around, and like you had like JP Price, et cetera. Like there was like maybe 15 to 20 people, and like 5 of them were within arm's length of me. And I was working with all of them loosely. Like, what do you think I should do with this? I'm like, I do this and this and this. And I eventually just kind of started getting more. And it was just running more crews and running our team here and basically writing all the programs for everybody and not even like getting paid for it. I just found myself doing it. They're like, hey, this person's new, write them a program. I'm like, okay, you do what they're doing. I don't know. But then I started finding myself like with JP, when he when he took the all-time total record, and then squatted 1,003, and then I had another guy squat 1,000. And it just kind of snowballed out of control. Then I worked with Kirsten Skurlock, and she set all-time world records. I was just kind of started snowballing out of control. And eventually I was like, I should probably just do this officially. And I just kind of did after that, and rest is history. And who I have is who I have now.
Yeah. So you kind of got sucked into coaching, and it just turned out it happened to be something you really enjoyed.
Yeah, like people. I mean, I found a lot of enjoyment in my training partners, and to be honest with you, like it sounds crazy, but my favorite thing to do in this sport is to handle people, and namely multiply lifters. Um, I'm really good at like meet day handling, and really good at calling numbers, and really good at wrapping knees. Like one of my guilty pleasures is like taking like an all-time world record holder like squatter and getting to wrap their knees. Like I'm like, I'm gonna help out with that. Like I just like it's like one of those types of things. And there's people out there. I'm like, I want to wrap your knees because I want to see what you can do with my wrap because I like take a lot of pride in it. So it's been fun having Heidi do knee wraps lately because I'm like, I'm gonna have you squat 600 pounds in wraps.
Yeah, and 700 full kit, right?
It's the dream, but I'll let mama do what she wants. So
I'm just saying, what is our best 685? Like you gotta cry.
it's there. Like honestly, like if she just taper, like she just loose suit, like loose straps, like all she needs, like and this is the thing, and I will before we get on any tangent, but like I will say this. Not IPF lifters, multiply lifters have not embraced the secret power of the SBD lever belt.
Hmm, explain.
It is the most rigid belt that you can get. And when you pair that like with a tight canvas suit to walk the briefs in, you really and you set that higher, it's not like any other belt. It will literally like it will not collapse on you. And I know a lot of people that's like when it's in, I just don't know what it is about that lever and the type of like leather material they have. If you lock that basically in the interconnect between your T spine and your low lumbar, like you're not collapsing. Like you're going to keep a very superior chest position and you won't even have to have your straps tight. Like,
Yeah,
and I've seen it and they're like, but you just don't see a lot of people using SBD belts and multiply.
it's
Like,
it's funny because I'm kind of on the hunt for a 13 millimeter belt because the weight I'm squatting now with the 10 millimeter belt, I'm starting to hula hoop it out of the racks and it's getting scary. I just moved it up a couple inches and that alone made a huge difference. So now I need something like that. So maybe I'll
I'm
get one and
telling
let
you,
you know.
it's vastly worth the money. You will never need another belt, and it is literally the best belt. And that's not even a plug. Like, I'm not a big SBD fan. It's just there's no other belt like it. So yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah,
so kind of going all right, where were we go? We were talking about handling. So and knee wrapping. So something about that. We have someone at our gym, Brittany. She's kind of just known in the area as like the best knee wrap. So we have like when we're in meet prep and stuff. And one of the things when she wraps it around, she uses like a strap to like pull it through. So she
mhm.
keeps that one strap, and that's straps have like a 1,200 pound squat, JT's 1,100 pound squat, my 1,000 pound squat. So it's like a little piece of history, and it's just one of those kind of cool things that like a few years down the line, be like, this strap has so many stories behind it.
That's I have a piece of paracord. I have like a thing of paracord that's kind of the same thing, and we've just had it ever since like we put a piece of paracord, same thing, just it's smaller, and just pull it through. I think a lot of people who like take that part of the sport seriously because it is kind of this unsung hero, right? Um, People take that and they just like, yep, here's the paracord, here, throw this over, and it's like, what's that? I'm like, if you've seen what this little piece of string is seeing, you would be very surprised.
Yeah. And so back to coaching, I know you kind of got thrown into it, but at what point along the journey did it more turn into like, okay, now I want to turn this into like a business. I want to actually grow into this.
Probably the Showdown one, maybe Showdown 2, Showdown 1, Showdown like 2020. When I started working in more because I used to be just it sounds super conceited, but like I was a person that kind of didn't exist. People knew that I existed because I'd helped out all these bigger lifters. Like, well, who's coaching you? They're like, we just have this guy in Kansas City. He tells us what to do. He's kind of the brains of the operation, but like he doesn't really like to be out there. And I never did anything. And then I had, like I said, Kirsten Skurlock and a couple other people like asked me to kind of be more in official capacity. And that's when I kind of showed up in tracksuits and there was like, oh, okay, um, you do exist. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to do some stuff. And then kind of went on my own little hellbent revenge thing for a little while just to kind of prove that like I was actually good at doing this. And so I kind of stepped into it in a more official capacity. And I just started getting more and more inquiries, and people started talking to me more, like, oh, yeah, like, and kind of giving my 2 cents. And they're like, you're pretty smart. I'm like, eh, I'm okay. I'm fine. Like, I've just been doing this for a while. And so, like, with one became two, and then bigger lifters, they see other person's success or how you see a person's success in a gym gets infectious. And that's kind of the scary part sometimes because you can make pretty not so great friends from like gym owners who are coaches as well, because like you get one lifter that's in their gym and they're just like making gains hand over fist because a person's whatever and like I want that, and then they all mass flock to you. It's kind of weird, especially if it's someone's prize show pony. They get a little bit upset. And it kind of just happened like that, and I just started slowly entertaining it. The problem with it is that like I just have a very high capacity to do this, and I always tell people, and I joke about it. I was like, I work a full time job. I run two teams. I'm a software engineering manager by trade. Like if I did this full time, it would be a legitimate problem for a lot of people because of my capacity to do this. I'm really good at like multitasking and juggling multiple things at once. So, but now I kind of find that I found myself in that, and then now it's just kind of moving forward. Like more and more people. It's funny because it's evolved over time. I coached a lot of ladies. I helped a lot of ladies do some really great things. And then like it transitioned to some smaller guys like David Raymond and a couple other people like that. But then like now I'm kind of like I'm getting all these inquiries about like these bigger guys that like you're the guy that coaches all the big lifters. You know how to build a total. I'm like, I shouldn't have made those posts, because like I found myself in this unique situation after pulling Devontae, and then Hagen squatting 870 and looking like he could have or 970, looked like he could have squatted 1,000. Um, Now I have like these statistics that are just sitting on open powerlifting as like the only raw coach that has like the majority of the lifters in like the top 10 and stuff. And I'm like, oops.
Yeah, a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say.
Yeah, like, I was like, "I didn't intend that to happen. These guys just asked for help."
Yeah, and as far as through this journey of kind of just ramping up into that coaching lifestyle, how did your um, either competitive mindset either evolve or devolve or just kind of change over time as a competitor yourself?
Oh, I'm a trash fire. I Well, it's just like, I'm not really the quintessence like, I love lifting and I love competing. I have a problem with prioritizing myself. It's great, like, I've hit PRs and stuff like that, but, like, I don't really like, I have, like, about a 2 to 3 second, "Yeah, I'm awesome," and then I'm like, "I don't care." There's just like I'm like, that's the last time I'll ever be strong." Like, I don't ever, uh I don't know, man. I just don't get fired up about my own stuff. Like, I'm like, "Cool," like, I squatted 650 raw, cool, I was really excited for my 804 single ply. Um, I'm kind of excited to maybe throw that gear back on later this year.
Hell yeah.
uh, and my single ply back on. I really would like a 2,400 pound total. I think I can do it. Like I really think I can squat 9, bench 7 ish, over 7, but like probably pull in the sevens and stuff. I'm just better in a little bit of gear. Like I'm a much better lifter. Raw, I'm all broken apart. So but I like it. It's still a good challenge. So I'm excited for it. And I'm competing in like 10 weeks. It's just I'll be honest with you, man, I just don't really have a fire for it. Like, I'm super excited for like everything I'm going to do this year with my clients. Like, I got Hagen probably going to go 1,000 pound squat. I got be honest with you, Devontae's looking like he just squatted 10-14 for 2. He looked like he's gonna go for like we're looking like we're gonna take a crack at it. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna try to crack the squat record. Like at least go swinging on it,
Hmm.
you know. Um, like there's just so many things like that. I'm excited for it. Even Heidi's stuff. Like, and for me, it's like my stuff. Like my 300 kilo raw squat just kind of the only thing I'm really legitimately excited for is the potential of maybe trying to crack a 500-pound raw bench. That's it, and then me throwing gear back on. That's what I'm excited for. It just I don't know. It just doesn't hit as hard as other people's stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like to bring up is with obviously um, you just saying that you don't have like the best total, you're not top 10, blah, 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 but you still coach. And I think there's a lot of people out there that kind of get behind the whole like bandwagon of if you don't have this total or you're not this strong, like you can't be a good coach. So maybe tell us like what makes you a good coach despite not being like a top 10 lifter.
So what's really funny about that is I think you need to have a base of understanding of what it means to powerlift, what it means to be heavy, what it means to be scared under something.
Agreed.
And I think that's the thing. Like my appreciation for this sport came by way of gear. When you unrack, and you know this, you unrack 1,000 pounds and it's hyper maximal weight. You don't know if you can do that shit. You're like, this is it, boys. This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Like, and like I'm walking out 881 with, or 800 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like I bench 666 with a fractured wrist. And then like, when you get hurt, and I also being also getting hurt and stuff like that. Like I've kind of pushed myself to the limit and like you just kind of break. And what makes me a good coach is like, I know what those things are, right? I know those points. And I think a lot of people like today, like they think they're a good coach because they can write a program and stuff like that. It's like, man,
Programming
you
is
know,
the easiest part of coaching.
pushing someone to their belief system is everything. Part of my greatest strength is my age and that I'm a father and that I have life experience. I have been through it all in my 42 years. I lead people by day. Like I've seen some heavy stuff in my job and I've dealt with some heavy stuff. But also at the same time, like helping people believe in themselves. Like that's the hallmark of a good teacher. It's a hallmark of a good coach, of a good manager, is getting someone to believe into something that they can't necessarily see, right? And like when I even talk to people, like like oh, I just want to make you proud. I'm like, don't do it for me. Like my rhetoric even is even very pointed. They're like, man, you should be really proud of yourself. They're like, oh, I should be proud of myself. Like, you're not proud of me. I'm like, oh, I'm proud of you, but like, you should be proud of yourself. Like, that's weird. And I'm like, that's crazy. So it's the things that people don't think about, and harnessing belief systems and stuff. And I think a lot of people, like my clients and other people, like you're just in on your people. I'm like, yeah, like it ain't hard to tell. Like, I can get someone to tell them to do push-ups in front of a trash can until it fills up and they'll make gains. Like I have people do some dumb stuff. Like, well, how's this? I'm like, it'll work. Promise. I promise you it'll work. And they're like, okay, I believe in you. I'm like, okay. And then it did work. And they're like, I ain't gonna question anything ever again. I'm like, that's it. Like it, and that's what makes honestly that's what it is, man. It's just believing in people and push and giving back what they put in. So they go into the gym and they push, you give back that energy and like, okay. And you don't curb stomp people in the ground. You're always looking for opportunities and you meet things with a degree of forward progression that you're looking ahead on things and you're not you're not putting them in quicksand, if you will. Like you're helping them through the maze. Like, oh, come on, gotcha. We're over here, type of deal. So if you ever, yeah, it's like pulling your partner through an airport, right? Like it's just if you ever followed someone through an airport and then or led through an airport, you get it.
Yeah, and going back to that whole belief system, that is one of the things, and I think the main point being the experience too, because I think one of the issues you see is like I kind of said before, programming any like most people who have been in the gym, have done any sort of sports or anything, or just have a basic knowledge of any sort of literature out there, can write a program that's going to work for most people. It's the experiences and being able to coach them through and getting them to believe in themselves. That's what makes someone a good coach. And it's like that's why I have an issue with like these 20-year-old kids that they did a few meets and they're like, oh well, now I can coach. It's like, no, you haven't experienced anything in life. It doesn't matter what you did on the platform. It matters, did you go through a divorce? Did you go through a family loss? Do you know what happens when you get injured? Like,
Yep. And they don't know that. And the thing is, but kids are short sighted. I think it's wild when you have like these younger guys that have like older clients, and I'm like, how, like it just makes no sense. And it's crazy. But like, don't get me wrong, people are smart, but the reality is like, I went off on this whole tirade about it. It's like, oh, of course, if you have like, if you're a DPT, like that doesn't mean you know anything, right? It just means that you went to school for something. Practical application means everything. Like I'll hire a person with 10 years worth of experience over their degree any day,
mhm.
right? It's just, it is what it is. So it's like, what have you done? And for me, like I spent so much time in the trenches, like working with these people and not understanding and screwing up, right? Like I didn't know how to program a person with 1,000 pound squat. Like, I don't know, hit 881 for two, like figure this out. Like you start learning really quickly. And then if someone gets hurt or whatever, it's like you blew your knee out. Okay. We'll see how we get you back to squatting and stuff like that. Like it's trial and error. And you either start somewhere and go, and yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of how it is. I think the hallmarks of it is just getting people to believe in you and empowering people based upon that performance.
For sure. And kind of as the community aspect of it, obviously strength coach and just powerlifting coaching has evolved so much over the years. But being in the sport involved for like nearly 30 years now, how has the sport kind of evolved in your eyes over time?
So it's evolved in a lot of ways. But it's also like come full circle about 6 times. Um, it goes in waves, and it's not to say that it always repeats the same pattern, but it's kind of like this weird like tessellation type thing where it's like the pattern's the same, it's just in a different, it's presented in a different way. And so like whether it be like the multiply era and like going through like the single ply classic raw era and things like that, like you would have like these shifts in equipment. For instance, like this, what you see is like the shifts in equipment. People are like, well, gear's dying or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. The gear's the same. Like put on an SBD lever belt and see what that does. Oh, put on a pair of ins or knee sleeves, put on, whatever. Like these things, it's gear. You're still doing it. People are still just pushing the bounds of what the rule set is. That's all multiply ever was. It just pushed the rule set of what the thing was. Oh, you never said. You said just this.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how unlimited came to be. That's how single ply came to be. It's the same pattern. Wraps was the same thing. It was like, oh, like that. Wraps was probably the most pure of all of it because there was only so much you could do with a knee wrap.
Yeah.
It's just adjust the length. And they're like, oh, you only get 2.5 meter, you get 3 meter. It's like, oh, okay. Then you had to start adjusting the equipment. And that was like the big paradigm shift, right? The big paradigm is like, oh, monolift, that's historically you start having monolifts as opposed to combo rack, walked out versus not walked out. Like, but the pattern's the same, right? It just all still evolved, and it just kind of people started finding ways. It's like water finds a way to like changing. Then the deadlift bar changed, right? I was telling Heidi the other day, I'm like, could you imagine if like Chuck had a Kabuki deadlift bar, right? Could you imagine if like, could you imagine if any of the big multiply pro meets used a Kabuki bar?
Yeah. Well, all right. counterpoint with Chuck, I don't think it would work well for him because he was so fucking aggressive. But I get what you're saying.
Well, but his slack pull was legendary,
Yeah.
right? He just would bend the crap out of that bar, right? And it was just like he applied a lot of tension onto it, so it would damn near be a block pull for him. But he'd shake the shit out of it. But the reality of it is like, again, you find ways around it, and that's the thing, that the more things change, the more things stay the same. The conversation of how things are and the celebrations and stuff, there's still the theatrics. It's just coming in different ways, and the rules are the funny thing is what you're seeing now, like with the rule changes and stuff like that, kind of like with the IPF. That's kind of the big hot topic now. Is
That's
like
why I brought up this topic.
it's coming full circle again, right? Because they're like, oh, this the rule with the bench, right? You can't use your chest to initiate the press. That's called a heave. That's what that is. We just forgot, like, that's what it is, because there's no heaving in a rule book. Like, we just call it heaving. It's like hitching.
Yeah.
Hitching's not in any rule book. It's support on the thighs. Oh, you're hitching it. You can't hitch it. Well, what is a hitch? It's when you're jerking the bar, right? A heave is when you collapse it into your chest and it's going down, and you get a press command, and then you let your chest collapse a little bit more, and you ramp. It's like ramping a deadlift. It's the same premise, right? And they're like, oh, you can't do that anymore. And then everybody's up in arms like, oh, what are we going to do? And stuff like that. It's like, don't heave your bench. You're 125 pounds. You don't need to press like you're 460.
Yeah.
It's just bench press. And the thing is, I made a comment to someone, actually, I think I did it on Instagram reel, where it was, powerlifting today is not powerlifting. It's mechanics lifting. Everybody's trying to find the most distinct mechanical advantage to put pounds on the bar, which is fine. We've always done that. But there was a degree back in the day that power ruled all. Explosive intent ruled all, right? And I'm on this crusade now, right? Like the lifters that I have right now, I'm like, every time I see someone say something, I'm like, Lou's right. And then like there was like, and I'm like, yeah, it was Dr. Hatfield. I'm like, yeah, they're all right. Explosive intent rules all, right? Like these rules and stuff like that, like you're not having these rules because people are just shoving weight. They're not heaving, like they're not looking like the 2015 Dan Green, right? Like he's the one, you want to talk about the biggest offenders of that style of bench, like, Dan was it.
Yeah.
He was just a big muscle bound He-Man looking dude that just heaved the crap out of a bench, right? So when you look at that rule, it's like everyone's like shocked that it's like, what's that even mean? It's, guys, it's been around. It's just been put in a formalized way, right? And I honestly, to tell you the truth, like with the IPF, I made this comment as well, as they continue to be, to kind of go further with what you're saying, is like, what's changed? The IPF still rules things with an invisible hand. They still rule powerlifting with an invisible hand. Now, there are people that reject it, but it still trickles down. There was a time when, if like in other federations, equipment could or could not be used depending on if it had an IPF approved logo. People would just, oh, the IPF approves it. Okay, we can approve it. Inzer knee sleeves, stiff sleeves came to be because the IPF were like, stick. they didn't even look at them. They just stuck it on a pair of Ergo Pros, are like approved.
Yep.
Because of their previous history with Inzer. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they like last year, they're like all up in arms about how inconsistent they were and that how this wasn't really a whole thing. But like, their invisible hand cascades across the entire sport. And again, this is, when they created that whole bench depth rule, they realized, oh, the only way to get to bench depth is for some of these people with high arches is to heave a bench. Well, we don't have a rule in the rule book for heaving. Well, we better do that. So like if I had to put money on any rule cascading and trickling down powerlifting, it's going to be that. People are going to start like, oh, you can't heave a bench, and it's there. There's other feds have it. And they're like, it's just framed as downward motion.
Yeah.
because downward motion is downward motion. You get a press command. If that bar is on your chest and you collapse your chest, that bar's still going down. That's still downward motion. And I'll call that every day. Like I would have as a judge, because I judge as well. It's like as a judge, I would have a field day at an IPF meet. It would be a bloodbath. I'm like, they were like, downward motion after the press command. Sorry, you're heating your bench.
Yeah, and like that's one of the rules that like I'm totally fine with, and I think when you like people understand it's literally just downward motion just at the beginning of the lift rather than the end, it's fine. But I think the part that are driving people crazy and drives me crazy is the stupid optics rules that they created, and I think it just makes the sport not fun, because celebrating a lift to me and to most people is probably one of the most entertaining parts of the sport as a spectator and a lifter.
It's so IOC driven. If anyone had that, someone with ties to the IOC was like, no fun. That's got IOC written all over it. I'm be honest with you. Like if I move straight for like an International Olympic Committee, like that's got like they want that. The IOC wants everything to be a snooze fest. You so much as see a bra strap on a gymnastics competitor, that's a docked point. Like they are so hoity-toity on everything, and you saw it. So some of the optics and stuff that are in weightlifting, like there's a turmoil there. Like if you go back and you look at some of the stuff, and it's just like, hey, like this is an aggressive sport. Like at some point, you just kind of have to like own it, and they're like, well, it doesn't have to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to take one of the core sports and you're going to remove it. Like wrestling. Like there was rules and put in wrestling and stuff about celebration and sportsmanship. It's not very sportsmanlike to sit there and like, you can't tell me the most primal of sports, like literally one of the most original sport of original sport.
Yeah.
Maybe like the two most original sports ever to be done is probably throwing rocks and wrestling.
Yeah.
Like we've probably been doing that since we've been cavemen.
Yeah.
Right. And you're telling me that we can't celebrate the conquest of another individual? That just defies nature.
Yeah.
Right. Animals do that crap. You look at a group of chimpanzees after taking a territory, they're hooting and hollering and doing all kinds of
throwing shit and bananas.
Yeah, literally. And so it makes no sense. And so like the chain stuff, like the chain rule, you can't have your chain like that. That's legitimately just got abused, right? Like the chains get bigger. You get some, I made a funny thing about, like, a story was like, I was like, honestly, with Sheffield, like they were going to have those rules and stuff like that. I was like, Russ Orhey needs to come out with like Flavor Flav necklace.
I knew you were gonna say that. That would be so funny.
He's a whole ass cuckoo clock in his mouth or something, like just abuse it, because they push back the rules, right? They're like, hey, we're not going to put the rules out till after Sheffield and stuff like that. Like every one of those pros have an opportunity to just abuse those rules and just make a mockery out of all of it. And as like a display, as like a public display, if they really want to see change in their federation, that's the best way you can protest, is just make a mockery of that stuff. And yeah, it may get some backlash a little bit and they'll get a slap on the hand. What are you going to do? Slap everybody's hand?
Yeah. Do like a somersault out of the front of the combo rack.
Oh yeah. Like walking out in front and being like, and so like, I want to see that at Sheffield.
Yeah.
I want to see those people throw down, and like, I want to see some crazy energy. Right? Like, I don't want to, yeah. No. Like one of the new rules is everybody gets a medal.
Oh my
God. So I read the IOC rule. I read not the IOC rules, the IPF rules.
Basically the same.
One of the new rules is it's literally, if you compete at Worlds or you compete at international, everybody gets a medal.
Great.
So what does that tell you?
It just takes away the meaning of a medal.
They want to take away the prestige of winning, the concept of winning. right? They want everybody to get a medal. They want everybody to feel special. They want everybody to feel safe. They want to, you know, like it goes back to that thing. No, no, like the chain thing, I get it. Oh, safety, whatever. Okay, cool. Maybe you did it because we had people putting chains in their mouths and stuff like that. Like, put it under your shirt. Cool. People have like, but you can't really like people who wear chains and stuff for like religious reasons and symbolism and stuff like that. You can't stand on the premise that you're going to let someone use a full body singlet for religious purposes, and then you have a person, you're going to remove a person's symbolism, a public display of symbolism. It's a little hypocritical,
Yeah.
but I understand it's their thing. I know that other federation, other sports, IOC sports, they do not allow jewelry. So naturally, it's going to be one of those things, right? You can't. There's no. They should have an exact. Honestly, that rule should probably be revised to say you can only wear like jewelry that has like religious or belief based symbolism.
Yeah.
Right. Now people are going to abuse that, but you can't wear it in your mouth. You can't put it in your mouth. It has to be short, and it has to be taught, and it has to be non-obstructive. What other rules did they have? Oh, the hair rule. People are mad about the hair rule. I'm sorry. If you come out looking like Mufasa as a judge, I'm gonna be like, listen, I can't even see your hip crease. Like, I'm going to give you benefit of the doubt on this squat, but if I obstruct it again, I'm gonna red light you for obstruction.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a warning. Like, your hair is obstructing your hip crease. Like, and I've had that happen before. I've seen some people literally just have that Viking hair and stuff, and it was just kind of getting in the way. And like with their rules, right? Like if you have big old flowy hair and stuff like that, you got to keep your head on the bench, right? Like you have to, like, so I get that, like, and I know that's predominantly a female thing, but the reality of it is like it's preventing the judges from doing their job, right? And not to say that people have like ill intent, but if you have a big flowy hair or big, you know, you know, put on your 80s hair for your meat, like your head doesn't even have to touch. You just the hair's touching, right? And it's like you can't tell. So those type of rules like that make sense. The celebration stuff, honestly, it's just someone again. If I had to put money on it, someone ties to the IOC, some old head or something like that. So it's like, no, 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 we're getting a little too rowdy. The kids are getting a little too rowdy. It's like, get back on your porch, Dennis.
Yeah. And it's just like a hypothetical. I just like imagine like the WPO or the Holy Wars roster like at an IPF meet. Just like it would just be the most boring shit of all time.
Oh, that would be bad. That'd be like, I don't know. That's they would be appalled. First off, I mean, everybody would bomb. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, there's not one person that would survive that meet. They would. It would be a bloodbath. It'd be worse than the WPO meet this year. So, what was that about? We'll talk about rules and judging.
Oh God, I don't even. Enough of that. Moving on. No comment.
Everybody collectively was like, let's have a bad day. It's
Yeah.
a good day to have a bad day. But yeah, so I don't know, man. Like, but the trickle down effects are going to be a thing, right? Like, and the IPF has that power for the trickle down effects. The one rule that a lot of people didn't see as well as I don't think it gets a lot of call out is that there was a rule that you could not put your knee sleeves on with assistance or unassisted. You had to be unassisted to put on your knee sleeves. And this was an old rule that was put into place because of the Gen 1 SBD knee sleeves, because people were using trash bags to put on Gen 1 SBD knee sleeves because they were like unlike anything everyone's ever used back in the day, because everyone was using blue rebands and stuff. So they put that rule in. But they revoked and changed the rule that you can have assistance now putting on and off knee sleeves. That only benefits people with stiff sleeves these days.
Yeah.
So it's like total tinfoil hat, but like the contract on or the certification on all stiff sleeves ends at the end of this year. So who does that benefit when like A7 and all those people, they're looking to get all their stuff? It's like, okay, we can just, you put your non-stiff sleeves on unassisted and stuff. So it's either one or two things. It's like they're allowing that because they're going to anticipate revoking all stiff sleeves to the IPF, or it benefits their cash cow. It benefits SBD, and SBD comes out with a new line of knee sleeves,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of weird because if that happens, you just showed your hands of who's in your pocket. Like that just says that SBD actually has control of writing rules in the rule book, which is kind of a bad look.
Yeah.
So I hope that doesn't happen. That's total tinfoil hat. I'll tell you right now, like I don't think that's the case, but like it's weird. The optics of it are where it's like, why would you change that rule? So, but they have trickle down effects. It all goes to other feds, like the heaving rule. It seems like that. You'll see stuff like that kind of go. The celebration stuff. Like I don't think a lot of other feds will adopt it, but over time, like they start to kind of just make their way in. Like the judging cards, like cards, right? That all came out in the IPF. Now PLU adopts it. Of course, USAPL was a part of it, but like other feds kind of adopted it, and stiff sleeves and a group, different approvals of gear and like different things like that. The jury system, like these all came by way of the IPF, and they just kind of river flows downhill, right? And that's the thing about rules. And the thing, more things change and more things stay the same. That usually the governing body of powerlifting gets to dictate the direction of the sport.
Yeah.
Which that's the point I was making on all this long-winded stuff.
Yeah, and kind of shifting gears from a meet that I would probably never set foot in. Just talking about some of the raw and multiply meets this year, and kind of what do you think the year of 2026 is looking like for powerlifting?
Honestly, I thought it was going to be a calm year, right? I thought I was like, okay, cool. Like last year was a little chaotic. This year, everybody wants to have a pro meet this year. Apparently, everybody and their grandmother wants to have a pro meet, but there's a unique thing that's kind of happening, which is kind of cool because there's two meets in particular, and I know like why. Because the owners and the meet directors have a passion for powerlifting as a whole. Uh, but like you have the bar showdown. If you go look at the bar showdown, it allows all divisions. It's a pro meet that allows all divisions. It allows wraps, single ply, multiply, everything. I think everything but unlimited. But Shack Showdown as well. It's SPF. It's SPF. Like it's another. That's been the last years. It's been a pro raw meet. It's now open to multiply. It's open to anyone. I'm signing up for a single ply. Like that's kind of cool. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that like in a long time, like where there's been a little bit of extra inclusivity. Like we're talking about big meets that's going to have like meets potentially it's going to have great, like a live stream, like Bar Showdown. It's going to have a great live stream. It's got a good payout. Like it's going to be judged well, and it's going to be consistently and accurately and things like that. Like if you really want to go challenge yourself as a multiply lifter or a single ply lifter, and you want a good stage to be on that's going to be well ran, it's going to have a great live stream, and you kind of want to feel like you have a good experience and then have a good destination. I think it's near Destin, Florida. Like that's kind of cool. You're going to go get to lift with people like John that typically you wouldn't normally lift with, probably because they're two very close knit groups, right? Like in theory, you could at the bar showdown, you could have Phil Herndon lifting multiply and John Hack lifting.
Yeah.
Never happened. So I think that's like unique. I think that's actually some uniqueness that's kind of showing up these days where it's like, and I really hope more of that happens because I'd like to see maybe like, just a, like my dream would be if I had $1 million was like to have a pro meet and have literally a straight pro meet, like just raw multiply, doesn't matter payouts, whatever, like they're whatever, but like we're all there for the same purpose. It'd be so cool to like see some of the biggest multiply lifters and the biggest raw lifters all on the same platform.
Yeah.
We've just never done that before, and it would just be cool. It would be something that like we're our sport's not big enough for us to not cross pollinate every once in a while, and at least just enjoy what this are. And I think that's the opportunity this year, and I hope people cash in on that. I hope some multiply lifters and geared lifters look at Shack Showdown or Bar Showdown. It's Bar Showdown's 10 weeks out, so it's a little bit soon. But like Shack Showdown later this year, I really hope that people really sign up for that. Like, and know that like that's gonna be like you could have some really good, good lifting that day. So but then you have, so many people running pro meets. The American Pro is back, and it's everybody's doing pro-ams. You know, I think every single like major like pro meet now they have the pro-am style. So you have the pro day and you have amateur day,
Hmm.
right? Pros like that, but then you have every other, king and queen of the platform, like all the usual suspects on this Power Surge is always a pro-am. But yeah, like I think that's the biggest thing that's this year because I don't know if Power Surge is going to follow suit with Bar Showdown. But if that's the case, they just start opening it back up to like all divisions. And people, I mean, they won't show up because I mean, some people will not show up, but like it's it's out there. Like the olive branch is given. It's like, hey, come play weights with it. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Just come play weights. It's like our standards are our standards. So sorry if we're a little bit more stringent, because I feel like the standards might have like deviated a little bit, but like um between the two. But at the end of the day, like it doesn't mean we just haven't seen that. Not at that level, like local level, of course, and the intermediate level, like you know, but Ohio style powerlifting, et cetera. But like, just I think that's the big thing. Everybody has a pro meet this year. There's like 12 or 13 of them. It's more than ever, and I think that's the big thing. Like that's the outcome. So you gotta. The good thing about that is you have choice. Problem with that is if you're wanting to lift with your heroes, good luck
Yeah.
because you have abs doing a handful of meets, you have PLU doing a bunch of meets, you have WPPL, you have SPF, like all the old school stuff. Like SPF's got like a bunch. USPC is making this big push of pro meets. Um, everybody's got them, and they're like all like $10,000 payouts and stuff. So it's like, where do you go? And the answer to that question is in this economy where you can afford.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's the saving grace of it is that people can probably still get to do this and not have to break the bank doing it. That's the saving grace of it.
Yeah. And I think the kind of the caveat to, or I guess benefit of not necessarily lifting with your quote unquote heroes when you have this choice of so many pro meets and you're a pro level lifter, but you're not necessarily going to be the best at most of them. When there's more options, you have more choice in the fact that you could kind of maybe justify a little bit of travel if you kind of know who's doing this meet and be like, well, I have a chance to actually get a check and cover my expenses for the trip.
For sure. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing what I'm seeing a lot with my clients. A lot of my clients like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like Hagen's going to stay local. We were looking at maybe going to Ireland in 2027, but he's gonna stay local and kind of stay around the Kansas and like Arkansas area for like NPL and SPF, right? Where I have Devontae USAPL nationals because it's like it's a drive as opposed to a flight, and there's potentially their world competition is in Houston, which is his hometown. And I have other people like Zach Myers is going to be doing, more local than anything because the locality is everything. Everyone, the reality of it is with the economy, everyone's kind of feeling the pinch.
Yep.
And the more that you can, that's kind of the blessing in disguise on all this is the saturation is giving people options. And so competition is good. So people can win stuff and the smaller meets, like even like Texas Iron Republic down in Texas Iron Republic, down in Magnolia, like Tyler Williamson and then their crew, like they're throwing a couple like backyard pro meets and stuff. That's the name of it. And but they were throwing out some decent money. It's enough to again pay for your trip and make it worth it, and kind of reset the clock a little bit. Um, I think American Pro, even to a degree, like I think the meet directors, they're making it worth your while as long as you go and as long as you complete the meet. Like your entry fee is free. Like if you're an invite person, like so they're trying to offset the cost for people, and I think that's important. I think more than anything, just to be able to like stay in the sport while times are kind of hard. I think that's important. And as a coach, I feel that from a lot of people because I have, when my clients come to me, they're like, hey, man, things are kind of tough right now. I'm like, well, let's talk. Like, let's figure it out. Like, what do you want to do? You know? And we talk about those things. And, if someone needs to skip a month, that's fine. Like, we'll keep going, keep the train going. I know they're good for it, but like, it's just that's the nature of it. So the meets are what they are these days. It's like everyone's like, oh, cool, but there's just options and competition. Is it gonna implode on itself? I think the sport as a whole, kind of right now, is kind of in a very protective state. IPF's doing the IPF things, Multiply's doing their things. The raw untested side, that's the side that's really kind of in flux right now. It's really, really, really kind of no man's land right now. Like, there's just so many people grabbing at different edges of it and gnawing on it. It's going to take one of the big feds or something like that, or something to collapse pretty hard, or people give up on it. Like the new generation is really weird because drug tested's just kind of running the sport right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of hard. Like it's but even the drug tested side, like you saw SBD Austin, Sheffield, they're leaning into more of these big showcase events, more than Worlds. So that's interesting. I don't know. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of selection, a lot of saturation, but you choose where you want to have fun.
Exactly. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't look at the name of the federation, look at the name of the meet director that's hosting the meet, because that's way more important.
It is because you want to support the people. We have a bad habit in the sport of just wanting something for free from the people that we like, and that's put a lot of really good people out of business. It put Ghost out of business. It put a number of people out of business because like, oh, like sponsor me, give me free stuff. I'm like, no, you get off your lazy ass and buy it yourself. Like that person's too good, has a too good of a heart to tell you no. That's why for me, it's like I don't have sponsors. I don't do anything like that. I pay for everything out of pocket. And like if I buy something, I'm like, no, I'm paying full price because I need you to stay in business. Like I want to continue to buy stuff out of you, like Zone smelling salts or something like that. I'll pay that full price. Like anything get from whatever, like I'm going to buy that. Like the number of A7 knee sleeves I bought this year for people, like the guy that runs our social media account, he's always like, I'm like, tested out your knee sleeves today. Person took 1,014 for two. That's never been done. It was done in your knee sleeves just so they're good. Hey, I blew out this seam. Like, we'll send you some new ones. I'm like, okay, great. Like, I just continue to buy. It's not like I'm vouching for some sort of thing. I support the stuff, but like, it keeps people in business. Like, that's how this works. And the same thing with meet directors. You keep them doing this by supporting them. And that's what I try to impart on all my clients. I'm like, you good? You getting paid? You got everything you need? Like, it's good. Like someone's like, hey, this person invited me to their meet. They're going to cover my costs. I'm like, no, I'll pay the meet entry. I'm like, they don't need it. They don't need it comped. Like, whatever. It's good. So yeah, I agree. Meet directors where it's at.
Yeah, and kind of the last little thing we'll talk about is your little favorite powerlifting story, and you've mentioned a few times across the episode of the training night for Devon's 10-14 for two.
So it's crazy because the thing is that 10-14 for two we had talked about, and honestly, we intended on taking it for three. And I've had a few of those type of experiences, but they kind of encapsulated just kind of the crew we have here in Kansas City. Like, because a lot of people don't see is like Heidi took like a max an AMRAP squat that night and took like 430 for five. But like you don't see like so if you ever come to Kansas City, and SBC has like, we're spoiled. But we have, I think, like 7,000 pounds of like kilo plate. Like all we have is kilo plate, right? We have like 12 combo racks, 3 monos. Like you, every platform could have 500 pounds of kilos on it, and we still would have plates.
Yeah.
We ran out of plates that night. There was no, I had to wait to squat. We had no plates. Our whole crew community, we had, what people didn't see is like Devontae took 1014 for two. Like my 19-year-old client took 705 on deadlift. I had other clients over here. I had a couple other friends and training partners taking big squats. We were all just kind of throwing down weight. The energy was already kind of hyped up, but it goes back to like community and crews make this. And it reminded me of this sport thrives so much more if you can find a good community. It's okay to train on your own, but like go find a group of people to train with and watch
100%.
your numbers just take off.
Yeah.
Because that 1014, like when I found Devontae, he squatted like 750 for a couple. That was it. Now he squatted 1014, put 300 pounds on his squat since I started working with him. Like, that's not just because I'm super smart and some next level coach. That's because we moved him to SBC, rallied an entire community behind him, and a group of people that support him, believe in him, help him believe in himself. You know, every person that was spotting him, like, all squatted like 700 pounds. Like that bar, if he would have dumped that bar never would have touched the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Been the most impressive display of spotting ever done. If he ever had to dump that, it literally like every person squatted, deadlifted 700 pounds. Like it would have got caught.
Yeah.
1,000 pounds would have got caught. And that's what's special. Like it just, if you look at that video and look at the things that I showed, like it's a really great display of community and what it took to do that for a person to do that. So that's the story behind it, and why I find it to be so special is because I think it's something that a lot of people in the sport don't get to experience these days because everyone's just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the bigger downfalls with kind of the change in powerlifting is the more like alone era. I think the crew era, it seems from what I can see to be returning and kind of making its way into the raw world more, which I'm glad to see because to me, powerlifting community is the most important aspect of the sport as a whole.
I mean, we have legitimate powerlifting gyms now. Why wouldn't this be a thing, right? Like we had most of the time back in the day, it was like you had a Globo gym that had a couple strong people throwing weights together, right? We have legitimate powerlifting gyms now. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a crew. Go build one.
Yeah.
Go find some people. Go to a gym. Go find some kids. Go find some people who want to throw around weight, and like say, hey, come lift with me. That's how I built my crews. Like I built my crews like, hey, come lift with me. Like we have this storage unit. They're like, oh, okay, weird. I took a couple times to convince them. Like at the time, we were just lifting out storage units.
Yeah.
So now you actually have facilities that are dedicated to it. There's just no excuse for it. And it's like, you're only going to get stronger. You're only going to get pushed harder.
Yeah.
So,
and you're only going to stay safer.
You're only going to stay safer. Speaking, I'm literally in my basement where I had a stroke and almost died like 2.5 years ago. Like right on the other side.
Jesus
like I was
Christ.
I literally like went to go pull like a max effort deadlift and just like stroked out on the floor.
Oh my God. But before we wrap things up here, kind of going into the year, we're at the beginning of the year, what are some of maybe the major goals that you have for maybe just coaching or in life or some of your clients?
I have one major goal. That'd be great to do, but I can't talk about that right now. So more to come on that. Everyone will know it when they see it. That's more home life. And then honestly, coaching wise, I want to see I'll be honest with you. I want to start making a push more into the drug tested side of things. I stayed on the untested side, working with this community and stuff. I really feel like I probably have a little more. I have some stuff I want to do over there. I've never had an IPF world champion. I think I'm going to try to make that push, and then I think of my own lifting, just not fall apart. Maybe try to put my gear back on, put my super suit back on, and actually feel like I did something respectable in this sport. It's probably gonna be the last. Like, if depending on the result, it'll be the last time I ever put my single ply on. And if I can do that and do that healthy, successful, it'll be a good year. So
Oh yeah. So we'll wrap things up here. I'll ask you my final question. If you could give a new lifter, someone going into their first meet, a word of advice, what would you tell them?
going 3 for 9 is way better than going 9 for 9.
Yeah, elaborate on that because I saw that and I was interested to hear that.
So if you go 9 for 9 in your first meet, like chances are, if your first meet, you didn't go RP 10, you didn't empty the tank. Like, very rarely would that ever happen. You were ball of nerves and stuff. Make mistakes. Go break some eggs. Like, literally, go be a complete dumpster fire. Like, learn and make mistakes. Learn what happens when you jump a command. It's okay. Like, get buried under a squat. Like, what other, like, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna, like, if you're a newer lifter, you're not gonna be very consequential in your abilities, right? You're probably gonna, like, maybe a 200, 300 pound squat, 500 pound squat if you're a guy at most, whatever. Not everybody can be Devontae and squat 1,000 in their first meet, but like, the reality of it is go make those mistakes. Learn what it feels like to fail a squat, like, pushing, like, you're only going to, if you have a coach, you're only going to give that coach more opportunities. You're only going to give him a greater capacity to put wind in your sails. Learn to start somewhere, right? It doesn't have, you don't have to start successful. Start as a failure. It's okay. Failing is what this sport is about. Like, it's literally a sport predicated on failure, a never ending sense of failure and a never ending sense of not being good enough. So don't go to your first meet and expect to be perfect. Don't try to be less than perfect, but try your hardest, but don't be afraid of just not doing, like, it has no bearing. It's your place to start, not your place to finish.
Yeah, and I think the major point that you can pull from this is the your biggest learning lessons are from your failures and not your successes. So I
Mhm.
wanted to thank you again for taking the time to come on. It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much, man.
Listen, I don't have a beard. I've got this glorious mustache. But even this stash deserves elite care. That's where Wicked Wolf Beard Co. comes into play. Their oils and balms keep the face fuzz fresh, soft, and ready for action. No crusty cowboy nonsense here. It smells great, feels great, and makes me look more like I lift heavy things. Beard, mustache, or something in between, Wicked Wolf's got your mug covered. Wicked Wolf Beard Co. Respect the stash. Head on over to Wicked Wolf Beard Co. and use code PLDEN for 25% off your order.